guys, welcome back to the library. The update I was hoping for. So, if you didn't see the post in the original video, 15 minutes before we went live with the premiere, how shall we call them? I already have a Secret Santa. Let's call them our Fairly God player. Reached out to me and was like, hey, I have a way for you to check out the levels. And sure enough, we got the levels. The 4 missing stages, Western, Tar Pits, Hollywood, and Godzilla, are now all in play in effect. If the prototypes ever get released, the only way to play these so far that I can tell is that you have to use DuckStation with the 8 megabytes debug option turned on. I have tried using my actual real-world debugger, and I've tried using a modded retail system. The 4 stages will not load unless you use DuckStation in 8 megabit mode, so just remember that. But besides the 4 levels now being playable, a whole bunch of new information has come through that I'd like to share with you that I haven't gotten up on site yet because life will not stand still for a second. It turns out the music in Beavis and Butthead is real. And by what I mean by real is actual local bands performed a bunch of it. In looking through the coding, there is tracks from MTV Rocks. I just haven't been able to figure out what those are. But then 4 songs are from the band Cage, and then 2 songs, which don't have their names in the coding, is from a band called either Bargain or In Bargain. The reason I bring these up is they are actually local bands that Russ Patterson, who I had mentioned earlier with the main development of the game, locally sourced. He joked that he was a musician that had a game company to pay for his music hobby. If you would love an amazing set of provenance pieces for the prototype in this whole journey, Cage's album is available on eBay for about $20. I got mine brand new. I was hoping to have them in time for this video, but I want to get the video out into the public. So I'll add all that to site once they're in, just like a video game. In Bargain, their outside of the prototype livelihood apparently isn't that well documented. I had to open up an account on Discogs and found one of 4 copies of their disc. And of those 4 copies, the distribution was so small that my copy that I bought for the pure provenance of it actually has the local radio station's name written on the disc and the manual where they played it. Like, that's how far this rabbit hole goes. So like I said, it's going to be the musicians Cage, In Bargain, and then MTV Rocks. I realized while playing the new stages that if I leave the game at the title screen, Beavis and Butthead don't talk. So I can actually record it as one long stream and finally figure out what the other missing tracks are. I have gotten a bunch of ideas and possibilities of how to also get the tracks using programs and so forth from a bunch of people. I'm going to try that too. Like I said, if everything works, it'll be on site. Before we dive into the levels, one other little thing is apparently one of the developers saw the video and laughed. And according to my source, said that those aren't carrots being thrown by the trainer, they're hot peppers. And the reason we now know that I know they're hot peppers for sure is because in Western, they are a projectile that you can pick up and throw at explosive boxes to clear a path for some falling rocks and then to make a staircase to one of the rooftops in the Western. Also, speaking of Western, as I can't remember if I pointed out in the video or not, but like there are differences between the prototype stages and the footage we saw in gaming magazines from the time, including the E3 video I showed at the beginning of the video. According to Russ, they had gone through a couple of iterations and things could change between what they shipped off and what the current issue was. I can say that with Western, despite it being different from the magazine screenshots, you can find the exact spot where it would have been in that particular version. So we now have the entire game confirmed from the screenshots and the missing levels. It's fantastic. Like the amount of help and community forming around this release has been incredible, and I thank all of you guys for it. Now, that said, let's run through the levels, and we're going to do this with camera mode. First up is Western. Western is pretty cool because it is one of the most dynamically angled stages, where most of the other stages are flat with the exception of the verticality of sci-fi. Here in Western, there's a huge mountain that you can climb up and dodge rolling balls, as well as hit that first TNT box I mentioned with the hot pepper. Now, though, I don't believe you're supposed to go up there because there's nothing up there after a few steps, but if you come down and around to the left, there is a huge city street of all the houses and so forth. As you run past them on the ground, the bottles and various power-ups appear, like the soft drinks and so forth. Eventually you would get to the end, and it looks like it's divided in two. There's a clear false wall between the early half of the stage and the second half, and it's not really sure like how that was supposed to play out and everything. I think you were supposed to eventually go through the door, but you can clip right through it, so you can reach both sides. Oddly enough, that wall you clip through is the wall you can see in the E3 video where they walk past out into Nothingville. So that was a nice little piece of history. You can actually get Butthead and or Beavis up to the rooftops either from double jumping or the if you use the hot pepper to blow up the dynamite in the middle of the stage, you can then hop up to that to get to the second floors. One of the buildings has breakable banisters, so like if you run towards it, it looks like you can't reach it, but if you jump through, the banisters will shatter and you can get to the stage. There's also a police officer hanging out that you can just punch if you want to, but I would suggest not doing it. Yeah, and like I said, like the stage is pretty long. It's clear that this would have been one of the running stages where you would have activated the Cornholio mode and run through, which would explain breaking everything. All right, next up would have been tar pits. I'm sorry, Godzilla. Godzilla's next one in order. With Godzilla, this is exactly how I thought the stage was going to play out, and I am so happy to have been proven right. In Godzilla, you start backstage behind the actual sound, I shouldn't say actual, but the sound stage that would have been used where it's two humans in the Godzilla costumes on a miniature city. You start backstage, and as you run down and around, you can step up into the scaffolding that's above the sound stage. There is some interactivity in this stage. If you follow the scaffolding all the way around, there's a control panel in the dead center. If you run just next to it, it triggers one of the only sequences in the game where you see the camera move and it looks like you're either supposed to be draining the water from the pool or filling up the water with the pool. Filling up the pool with the water. Can you tell I'm doing the soft script? And then it cuts back, but you actually clip through the scaffolding. You can revert back to your partner who should still be behind the stage and get through the rest of the stage. If you ride the scaffolding all the way over, there actually is a miniature city where a Mothra-like character is stuck to one of the buildings. Our Fairly God player shared some really cool stuff with me from a artist's portfolio that is unfortunately no longer online, where it looks like the point of this stage would have been either Beavis himself or a Beavis replica in place of Godzilla spitting water at Mothra, which would explain triggering the water control panel. If you there's just enough platform under the water to where you can jump into that and actually run around and check out the little mini planes flying around with the aircraft carriers and so forth. It's just really, really cool. I love how this stage is set up. Once you get out of there, the next one up is tar pits, and tar pits can suck a dick. So this stage is actually really cool, and it also has our little NBC Peacock for the first time. The way the stage was designed is it looks like a giant board game where there are rock platforms in the tar pits, and you would have to chase the peacock around them, collecting its feathers as it went. The problem here is that because the jumping physics have not been optimized and are just as clippy as they were with the other stages, I can only get to the second rock and then everything just falls apart. I can't aim them to save my life, which is why I used camera mode to give you a tour of the level. There are some things to see here as far as sightseeing goes. There's a really cool angry mastodon statue in the tar pits. There's 3 little insect type things flying around the tree in the corner. and then you can actually run around a little bit on your starting area. Other than that, there's not much to do aside from fall into the abyss. Note that if you miss the platform, your partner follows you in and you have to restart the level. Like, I'm not kidding when I say it's the Dark Souls of the game. Finally, in the last update and missing stage was Hollywood. And everything Russ said about it was completely true. It's actually my favorite stage too. The coloring in it is gorgeous. It reminds me of the sunset in the old Atari 2600 game Barnstorming. The characters do start behind this giant sign. As you play, if you try and get up to the wooden platforms, they break out from underneath you, and this continual breaking of the platforms is what reduces the structural integrity of the sign. While on the left side with the wood, it was actually really easy to get up there and trigger the boards collapsing. On the right side, the ones that were intended to fall, they kind of didn't do anything until I started like walking up to certain spots, and then they just activated instantly and fell over. I've got that footage here as well. There is a dog. There's some more nachos. I couldn't get up to the top of it, but our Fairly God player did say he was able to hack a Game Shark code that would give you essentially moon jump physics, so you can reach the spots not only in here but in Sci-Fi's verticality mode too. Yeah. There you go, guys. We now have, at least as of this video, the full documentation of what is available in the prototype, missing stages and all. I am so excited. I really do hope this video reaches the right people and we can trigger a snowballs effect and maybe see it released one day. I just want to give a huge shout out once again to Russ Elmodis that started the whole thing, our new Fairly God player and Secret Santa. It's just been a wild ride. And as I said, hopefully I can get to updating all the information on the website as far as the music goes and all the new notes for the stages. Yeah, I would have gotten to this sooner, but I took a break and just decided to throw in Arthur Ready to Race, a simple 40-minute kids game. And I'm currently at 8 hours and 5 playthroughs into the 40-minute kids game because, as it turns out, you can't 100% it because of a glitch. Foreshadowing of a new Game-Rave TV. All right, guys. Enjoy this video. Enjoy the, let me know any questions in the comments. I'll see you later. Be safe. I'm here when you need me.